the best Tony Woods story I can think of is, and you may have been there at the Boston Comedy Club. There was in the Village. There's a place called the Boston Comedy Club. Anybody watching this? And that was a rough room. Like that was where you got your metal tested. You know, it was gladiator school. And Barry Katz calls me. He's like, "Hey man, I'm doing a UK comedy tour audition, man. Not you." And a Saturday night. And the week before I had been there, and there were these two dudes, Italian dudes from Bensonhurst. And they had been heckling, and I was slamming these guys. And the one guy left that night and did this to me, did the like neck thing to me. I'm like, yeah, buddy, I give you this, you know, whatever. Yeah. So the night of the UK tour, those guys are back to see me, and they're in the audience. And I guess they have some shit ready. And Ian Edwards went up, and this is when he had his dreads and everything. He went up, and those guys started making some noise, and he dealt with them very gently, but they were pissed off about the week before, so they laid into him. They called him the N-word. They spit at him. A huge fight breaks out. All the English guys who are booking the tour just in the back, just terrified. This chick gets hit in the head with a bottle in the front row. She's bleeding. Chairs are getting broken. Matt Frost has his big flashlight. He's hitting people with the flashlight. This is fucking crazy. It's pandemonium. Barry takes off like, "See ya, man," and he's gone. He goes out through the bag. It just takes off, leaves the English guys. Cops come. They arrested two dudes from Bensonhurst. The show resumes, and Tony Woods goes up and does a half hour just about what happened. Like, you know, man, you know, the dude and Shorty. And I remember seeing this chick with this, you know, she got hit in the head with a bottle, just bleeding, laughing in the front row, just her head split open, bleeding. And that, I think, was Tony Woods' real gift, is just being able to take a situation and do time on it. You know, time on it and stretch it out. He did like a half hour on what had just happened, and people were dying. It was great, man. I thought maybe you were there that night. I don't know.
No, I was not there that night. I was. Frosty was not at the club as much when I was there, and Barry was never at the club. He was in LA driving a Ferrari, I think.
Man,
Tony Woods is someone that I feel like, you know, the way that people are into comedy these days. And as popular as these podcasts have gotten, it's like people forget Tony Woods was like Chappelle's mentor. Like he was, if it wasn't for Tony Woods, there literally probably would be no Chappelle.
Yeah, I agree.
And probably no me. I listened to that guy so intensely when like, if he said stop doing something, I remember telling a story about there was a girl that worked at the Boston, and she got me to go back. I'm not going to say her name, but I wanted to say her name so badly. I wanted to, hey,
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. And she had gotten me to jerk off in front of her in my apartment, and Tony just comes up to me. I'm telling the story on stage, and Tony just comes up to me and goes, "Shorty, I'd never tell that story ever again." And I was like, "Really?" That was the funniest. Oh man, but he was so. I've spent so many nights just literally hanging on his every word at the Boston, at the Baggett underneath, and just anything he'd say about comedy, I'd be like, I mean, it was amazing. I remember when the probably one of the biggest stories of that time for me was, you know, and I've told this a bunch, and Tracy Morgan says it's not true and it's totally fine. I completely side with him. If he wants to say it's not true, then I'll say whatever he wants. But I had this great Tracy Morgan story of him taking me out around the corner to smoke a joint and telling me it was PCP, and me freaking out. And I'm for Tracy's sake, it was not PCP. I'm a big fan of Tracy Morgan's, but
now, that wasn't the one Jay Moore did. Is the one Jay Moore did. Such
a great fucking story. But Tony Woods was there that night. So Tony was there. I mean, I hate to fucking, but Tony was there. So it's like, he keeps saying that, across the board, he was like, when he heard Jay saying it, he was like, Jay took our story. Because that's when Tony tells it, it is 100 times better. It is so much better because all this innocence I have is out the window. And he's like, Shorty, I think your shirt might have been off too. I'm just telling you. And so, but I remember the end of the night, the very end, the story, Tracy Morgan snaps his shirt and he goes, now that's how you get out of paying the check. Hey, I'm going uptown, Tony. You going? And Tony looks at me and he goes, you want to come along for the ride? And I was like, I'm going home now. And Tony just went off into the night with Tracy Morgan.
I'll see you later, shorty.